Good Saturday morning, I'm meteorologist Brooke Martell. Here's what you need to know as we get into this weekend. It's going to be hot once again. We actually have that heat advisory going into effect at 10 o'clock for the inland valley communities, and your coastal conditions will have some clouds and sunshine over the next couple of days. Milder daytime highs there, but still going to feel a little bit warm as well. Next week for the mountains and the desert region primarily, we're looking at rain and thunderstorm chances. Can't rule out the chances that we could see some of that moisture make its way into the valleys and the coastline too. So let's start here for your Saturday. Extreme heat warning in effect tomorrow morning through tomorrow evening, for the desert region. That's through 8 p.m. And then you can see here for your inland valley communities, we're looking at temperatures today from the mid 90s to about 100 degrees. And so we will have that heat advisory going into effect at 10 o'clock this morning. It'll last until tomorrow night at 8. Your mountain communities, mid 80s to the upper 90s, already under that heat advisory for today. So if we take a closer look at some other details, that heat risk map showing you what you can expect, a little bit milder here closer to the coastline, even some pockets over our inland valleys like Escondido and Poway. But once you get into the higher elevations, we increase to that moderate level, and then we start to see that major heat risk over portions of the desert region, which makes sense, right? Because we do have that extreme heat warning. Now, here's a look at what's going on in our atmosphere. We have that high pressure that's continuing to build over the west, and this is really driving these hot daytime highs. As we get into the start of this upcoming week, we'll have a little bit of troughing, and we'll have some changes in the forecast when it comes to the opportunity for maybe a little bit of rain. I'll talk about that in just a moment. But back to your heat safety tips, these same rules apply. We've been sharing this now for weeks. Just make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Make sure the pets have fresh water and shade, and take some breaks in the shade and in air-conditioned rooms. If you're planning on heading outside today, you want to exercise, maybe go on a hike or run, try to do that earlier in the day before 10 o'clock, because then, as we know, it starts to heat up pretty quickly here. So those peak hours to avoid, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. This last one's so important. Never leave children or pets in a vehicle. So out in El Cajon for today, you can actually see those temperatures will be right around those low 90s. It's going to feel like those mid 90s, however, and going into this evening, it's the same story we've been telling. Not great relief from the heat and the overnight hours, staying closer to those low 70s. So I know a lot of people needing to run the AC. And here's a look at the coastal forecast for you. Moderate rip current risk today. Your water temperature, low to mid 70s. It's going to feel really nice out there. Wave heights from 2 to 4 feet. High tide peaking at about 9 o'clock this morning. Low tide around 12:30 this afternoon. And take a look at your hourly forecast. Clouds and sunshine here up and down the coastline. Mission Beach, upper 70s. And those daytime highs look like this. We'll have a good mix of 70s up to about 80 degrees up and down your coastline for your Saturday. And upper 80s to about 100 degrees over the inland valley communities. Remember, that's where we have that heat advisory that will be in effect starting at 10 o'clock this morning. 90s to low 100s over your mountains. 112 today over Borrego Springs. So here is a look at that 10-day forecast for you and what you can expect. Temperatures are going to be right around the low 80s for a max daytime high through the start of the week, and then we taper off just a little bit. That'll take us into next weekend. You can see the inland valley communities not quite as hot next week. So if you've been looking forward to some relief from the heat, there it is. And I know a lot of kids are going back to school next week, so that'll be pretty nice for them as well. But it will be a warm weekend. And for your mountain communities, take a look at this. Rain chances come back into the forecast Monday and Tuesday, even some thunderstorm chances there as well. We could see that same activity over the desert region. But as we're talking about those temperatures next week, again, not quite as hot, especially as we look ahead to about Thursday. Have a great day.